The day is here. The 2025 NBA trade deadline is today at 2 p.m. Central. Welcome into Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. I'm Jeffrey Cooperstein, and I want to catch you guys up to date with all of the latest, what the Mavericks have done over the past few days and what they could do on the final day that trades are allowed in the 24-25 NBA season. We will start with the unfortunate. I hate looking at this. Producer Joey hates looking at this. But the Mavericks did trade Luka to the Lakers for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a first-round pick. They sent Maxi Kleber and Markieff Morris as well to the Lakers. And the Jazz were that third-team facilitator, getting Jalen Hood-Schifino from the Lakers and then 2 second-round picks. The Mavericks, that wasn't the only move the Mavericks made, though, as they also acquired Caleb Martin from the Philadelphia 76ers in exchange for Quentin Grimes and a second-round pick. This one happened just hours before the Mavericks were set to play the 76ers. Close loss for the Mavs there. QG nor Caleb Martin ended up playing in that game. And Martin has missed the last few games due to injury. So hopefully Martin will be back soon and make his Mavericks debut. Again, Anthony Davis expected to make his Mavs debut either tonight or Saturday against the Houston Rockets. I want to hear from you guys, though, before we get on with the rest of today's show. Will the Mavs make another move? Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. Type Y for yes or type N for no. Knowing Nico Harrison, who knows? My guess is as good as anybody else's, but let me know what you guys think down below. Want to take a look at a few Mavericks trade targets here. Just a couple of guys who I think could potentially be on their radar. I have Andre Drummond here from the Philadelphia 76ers as a number one target, and here's why. Derek Lively is going to be out for the next couple of months with that broken foot. Daniel Gafford, he sustained a little shoulder injury in that last game against Philadelphia, but Gafford should be okay to go. But he has been nursing a few injuries throughout the season, and if Gafford is the only available center alongside Kyler Kelly for the Mavericks, they do need some center depth when Lively is out. And I know Anthony Davis has played plenty of 5 in the past, but you don't want Davis playing the majority of the minutes at the 5. So that's why I think Andre Drummond could be a potential Mavs trade target. He also has been rumored to go to the Mavs for multiple years. If you remember, it was either last year or the season before. The Mavericks more or less had a verbal agreement to sign Andre Drummond, and then all of a sudden it just backed out at the last moment. So Drummond could be a guy to keep in mind. Marcus Smart has been the subject of trade rumors basically every year of his 10-year NBA career. He's now in Memphis, the first year in Memphis. He's dealt with some injuries this year as well. He has a pretty big contract, and Marcus is a guy that I think Nico Harrison would be interested in. He just turned 30 years old. He's a former Defensive Player of the Year and defensive stalwart. And if you remember what Nico Harrison said, whether you agree with it or not, after the Luka trade, he said that defense wins championships, and those are the guys that he kind of wants to look for, and Marcus Smart does bring that mentality. He does bring a defensive tenacity that I think Nico Harrison would like. Now, the money with him is a little bit difficult considering he's making around $20 million, but he is a Dallas, Texas native. We actually went to the same high school at Flower Mound Marcus, so it'd be cool seeing him on the Mavs, but I do think that if the Mavericks were to make a move for yet another guard, which God knows they don't need to, I think Marcus Smart could be a guy on the trade block and could be a guy that the Mavericks look for. We will get to the final 2 trade targets here in just a few moments, but I do need to tell you guys about our sponsor, which of course is PrizePicks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app, the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. The big game is almost here, and it is now or never. Don't miss out on the last football game of the season with PrizePicks this Sunday, the best place to win cash while watching the big game. PrizePicks is also giving away 1 free pick for the big game, where one of the starting QBs, as you see right on your screen, Patrick Mahomes, will only need to throw 1 yard to win. If you're correct on at least one more projection, you can win some real cash. And also be sure to check out the promos tab to tail any of our Super Sweat Millie Winners big game lineups. If you tail a lineup that goes 3 for 3, you can win a split of up to $1 million in promo funds. And PrizePicks is also the best place to get real money sports action in over 30 states, including California, Georgia, Florida, and, of course, Texas. How do you play? It's super easy. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get that $50 bonus when you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today. Use code CLNS to get a $50 bonus when you play your first $5 lineup. That link is clickable in the comments and the description of today's show. It is Prize Picks. Run your game. Just a little bit more on Marcus Smart before we go on here. I really don't think the Mavericks need to trade for a guard. The Mavs have a logjam of guards, if you will. Now, Marcus is a little shorter. He's about 6'2", and even though he is a really good point of attack defender, I think the Mavs already have that in Dante Exum, so I really don't think that it would be super necessary to trade for Smart. However, like I said, if the Mavs want another veteran presence, they want another junkyard dog, so to speak, who has that mentality, who's going to set that defense-first culture, Marcus Smart could be an option. We've talked about Javonte Green here on the channel before. Green is going to be, I think, a coveted name here at the deadline where the Pelicans are going to have multiple suitors for him. I think the Mavs have checked in on Green according to multiple reports, so he's a name to keep an eye on. He's pretty affordable as well. Not going to give you a whole lot on the offensive end is Javonte Green, but he's someone that the Mavs could look at as a potential wing guy behind Najee Marshall and behind PJ Washington. Washington is now going to slide to the 3, which means Marshall is probably going to play a little bit of the 3 and 4 off the bench because in an ideal situation, your starting lineup consists of Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson, PJ Washington at the 3, AD at the 4, and then Gafford at the 5 before Lively comes back. So Javonte Green can play a little 4. He can play some 3 as well. I'd be interested in bringing in Javonte Green for the right price. And then finally, we'll talk about Bogey here for a little bit. We've talked about him before on the channel. Again, he's a guard. He's the best scorer of any of these 4. And he would be like a true 6-man that the Mavs could ask to go get 15 points a game, to go shoot 35+% for 3. He's having the worst year of his career by far. I believe he's shooting just about 30% from 3. And I want to say he's shooting under 40% from the field. Here's a trade, a sort of framework that I think would possibly be in a Bogdanovic trade that we've talked about earlier on the channel. It would have been Maxi Kleber, Jaden Hardy, and Dwight Powell plus draft capital. So if you replace Maxi Kleber with another couple of guys to make up that $11 million, this is the sort of deal I think that the Hawks would be looking for. Now, is that something that the Mavs would want to do? I'm not sure because like I said, I think if Nico Harrison's going to make a move, he's going to look at defense first, guys. He's going to look at guys who are around the 30-year-old mark, and he's going to look at guys who are culture setters. I can't believe he said that Luka wasn't a culture setter. I don't know if you saw what Daniel Gafford said about him earlier today, but he said he was the nicest guy. He made everybody laugh. So all of the hit pieces on Luka are an absolute joke, and I just want to put that out there as well. All that to say, who knows what Nico Harrison's going to do? I sure as shit don't know. I don't know if anybody else knows what he's going to do, but what I do know is if anything happens, we will have you covered here on the channel. I want you guys to take a guess for me down in the comments before we get on out of here. Name someone the Mavs should trade for. Is it any of the 4 guys we listed? Is there someone that I haven't mentioned at all on the channel you think the Mavs should take a swing at? Let me know down in the comments. And of course, be sure to subscribe. We will be live in just a few hours for 2025 NBA trade deadline coverage. So stay tuned for that. Lock us in, and we'll see you here in a bit.